much more online. It's really easy to fill up that basket and to think, actually, if I've got the option to pay for it later, that's what I'll do, and I'll worry about that further down the line. But the buy now, pay later providers, they're not making money from you, the shopper. They're actually getting paid by the retailers every time you go through with a transaction that you would otherwise abandon because you don't have the money. So essentially, it's encouraging you to spend more. Great for the retailers. Is that in your interest? Something to really consider. So my motto with this whole area is, if in doubt, leave it out. The 3 questions to ask yourself are, can I afford to repay this when the money is due? Do I understand the terms and conditions? And do I actually need this in the first place? Do I have a good reason to buy it? If you're in doubt about any of those things, just don't go through with it.
That's really good 3 points there, because, as we know, debt can spiral out of control really quickly. So with the buy now, pay later schemes, can that affect your credit score?
It depends. Until recently, most buy now, pay later providers weren't reporting your borrowing to the credit reference agencies. That's now starting to change. So I would act on the assumption that your use of buy now, pay later is going to show up on your credit score at some point, sooner or later. And also bear in mind that mortgage providers look not just at your credit score and credit report, but they look at your recent bank statements when deciding whether to give you a mortgage. So they'll look at your use of buy now, pay later, and they may take a dim view of it, even if you are using it responsibly. I have heard of people being turned down for mortgages because they use buy now, pay later. So that's something else to bear in mind. And I think if you're comparing it to a credit card, I would say that, yes, buy now, pay later could be better if you're paying for something that's a one-off, if you need it sooner rather than later, if you don't have the money right now, but you know that you're going to have the money at a later date and you're not using it on a regular basis. But otherwise, I'd say a 0% credit card is a more reliable way to build up your credit score, and it's better for those bigger one-off purchases because you get Section 75 protection for any purchases over the value of £100, and that's really valuable. If something goes wrong with the purchase, i.e., it doesn't turn up or it's faulty, you don't get that protection with buy now, pay later. And one last point I would make, if you are struggling with any debt repayments, you've got a third of people this year saying that they have missed some kind of debt repayment, which is really worrying. Speak to your lender, because one of the biggest problems I see with buy now, pay later is as soon as the late fees start, people tend to, it triggers the ostrich effect. People put their heads in the sand and they hope that it will go away, but it won't. So speak to your provider and don't suffer in silence.
Really good advice there, Iona.